have come together as family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. We have come together as family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. Amen. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Make sure you reach out to one another today. Come on now. Spirit's in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of prayer. We affirm our life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Yeah. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Oh, it feels so good to be together, doesn't it? Yeah. When we show up, life shows up. When we begin, love opens up. This is the time to say out loud what's next for you, for us, for the world. When we show up, intentionality. When we begin, embrace uncertainty. This is the time to say out loud what's next for you, for us, for the world. You're free to explore all the beauty in store. Yeah, man. You're free to explore all the of beauty in store. We're not only the drop in the ocean, but also the ocean in the drop. We're not only the drop in the ocean, but also the ocean in the drop. This is the time to say out loud what's next for you, for us, for the world. The world. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you this morning. So good to be with you. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. The people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find out, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station with the workday wind blowing, I got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in the faces I see frustration going. They don't see it showing, why do I? You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. The people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find out, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the reason for the sadness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. If there's any answer, maybe love can end the madness. Maybe not, but we can only try. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Amen. Woo. People gonna treat you better. You're gonna find out, yes you will, that you're beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. You're beautiful as you feel. As you feel. It's a special day for us, isn't it? It's good to be here with you. Welcome. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Will you stand with me in the room as it feels comfortable, or raise your spirit so that we can sing this song together? There is a space in my heart where I can find the truth. I find me and you, a truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Come on now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes. Allow an unfold, embrace, let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom and love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger. Amen. We can ever be apart. No matter who, what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that surround you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Please be seated in the house and welcome at home once again.
Lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people in all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and the presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony.
Good morning. Or as someone who is one of my favorite people on this planet says, a gracious and glorious good morning to you. Welcome, everyone. My name is Janet Riley, and I proudly serve as a licensed practitioner here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Thank you for joining us this morning, whether you're in this room or online. We are a center that educates and engages the seeker on their spiritual path. As a member of the global movement Centers for Spiritual Living, our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. We are grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, and join me. You may stand, please. Join me as we say our call to service. How I choose to think creates my personal experience. Therefore, I choose to think affirmatively. I choose to speak affirmatively. I choose to live affirmatively. Not only is this my right, it is my responsibility as a conscious being. I allow myself to be guided, used, and available for the reawakening of everyone's magnificence. The moment is now, and I say yes, and so it is. Thank you.
Namaste. I'm Baji. I'm one of several licensed practitioners here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, and I am here to serve you. I understand the science of mind philosophy because I've been studying it for 30 years, and I continue to study. I have been a licensed practitioner since 2007, and I've been a member of this beloved community for 20 years. It is my great honor to offer myself to your service. And I can tell you that as you change your thinking, you really can change your life. I am a living testament to that. So if you want to live life in a greater way, experiencing greater joy and happiness, reach out, contact me, and I would be more than honored to help you.
Hello, I am Karen Ratz. I was inspired to connect with the SLCA community and become a practitioner because I believe in everyone's inherent greatness. You are great and amazing, and I love helping people see that. I can do that through affirmative prayer.
Hi, my name is Reverend Avon Drummond, and I want to mention why I am inspired to go to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I founded Ernest Homes in 1980 in San Diego, California, and when I moved to Georgia, a friend of mine introduced me to the center, and I've been there ever since. So I love the diversity, the family atmosphere, and of course the message. So I'm just inspired, and I hope you are too.
I came from Atlanta Unity Church to what was then called the Atlanta Church of Religious Science, which held meetings in the Rich Auditorium in Midtown. And Reverend Paul Gagne told me after 5 years that I had taken every class that had been offered. He invited me to take the practitioner course. And so I had no intention of becoming a licensed practitioner, but somewhere in that first year, Prac 1, my heart broke open. And I'm honored and privileged to now be a practitioner for almost 10 years.
When I was in classes, I felt like I was learning so much, and I was gaining a better appreciation of what it means to be a spiritual person. And becoming a practitioner was just the perfect way to blend and put those things together. So it is in gratitude that I get to do this on a daily basis.
Hi, I'm Richard Moy. I was inspired to connect with SLCA and to become a spiritual practitioner because I wanted to realize my own spiritual perfection. Somehow along the way, I realized that by helping others along their path, I was indeed helping myself. We truly are all one.
Hello, I'm Scheherazade Reed Taylor, and on my spiritual path, I have given counsel to children with behavioral problems, children who are underachievers, those who had substance issues or substance addictions, both teenagers and adults. I have been a psychiatric nurse on acute psychiatric units, as well as a psychiatric nurse for those dealing with substance abuse problems. So why did I become a religious science practitioner? Because it seemed the natural and the logical next step along my spiritual path and my spiritual journey. And I am so proud to have served 5 years the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. And I know everyone who views this video is blessed and prosperous. Thank you.
I am Penelope Williams, and why am I connected to SLCA as a practitioner? Largely in part because I wanted to really sit at the feet of the wisdom teachers here and to grow my understanding and to bring up within me that which is hidden so deeply that I can't find it myself. And this is a safe place in which I can discover who I am and who I really am, right? So, and to also have this community of beautiful people. I also work here, and so for me to become a practitioner allowed me a window into the souls and the lives of our members here, and for them to know me in a different way. And that was really one of the largest reasons I wanted to connect to our membership, and so they can get to know me. I'm not just their music minister, but I'm also a person on the path with them. And so those are the reasons that I decided to connect in the way that is really meaningful for me. And now that I've been a practitioner for a couple of years, it's actually broadened my understanding, and that I can live at a deeper level, that it's not just still seeking and finding, but I'm experiencing this much broader path of life, and I'm much happier. So that's really the gift of connection, isn't it? So I hope that you connect with us here at SLCA.
Yeah, give some love to our practitioners. That was just some of our practitioners. We're going to be honoring all of them a little bit later in the service this morning, and we're bringing you more ways that we're showing you how to connect, grow, serve, and give, and the people who are connected, growing, and serving, and giving with us. Good morning. It's my honor to be with you this morning, but before we get into the rest of the service, we want to make sure that everyone is up to date on the latest news in our community. Passing of our church mother. It was went out on social media, email, our newsletter. Earlier this week, we were notified of Maddie Hammond suffering a stroke on Monday morning. And many of us were able to go to the hospital and visit her Monday night and Tuesday night. And after all of her children, family, brother from North Carolina were able to come and spend time with her, which she was unconscious but responsive, physically moving some parts of her body, but still, as I spent time with her, she was in there. She knew we were there, and I'm very grateful that all of her family got to say their piece with her and spend time with her. And she passed sometime in the night, late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning. I know everybody here will have a service for Maddie and welcome the family and the rest of the extended family, many of whom are here in the greater Atlanta area, into our company. I've been speaking with her sister Marie, and she said, "I'm so glad we've connected through this." We connected at Bill's service, but she said, "I'm so glad we've connected again. Thank you for all the support." And she says, I hope that we don't lose this connection. I said, "Oh, you won't. You're family. You're family here." So we'll welcome all of her family into our space, and we'll let you know when that is, when they're ready to plan that, and we'll be supporting them. But we just wanted to make sure everybody knew. And we're the constant conversation in our community is, well, how long has she been here? And we've 40 years, 35 years. It's at least 35 years, and we're talking about some of the other people that we know that have deep roots and connection here, like Tom and Dennis and Richard, and I think of some of those folks. It was like, well, Maddie was there before them because they were all greeted by Maddie. Essie, right? So she might be the longest connection, deepest connection we have to our founder, Kennedy Schultz, and to the long history here. So we're just going to take a breath. I'm going to invite Janet Riley to come back up for our affirmative prayer. And again, just allow your hearts to fill with the love for our beloved Maddie and for her family and for our family. And she would want us to be together today and to celebrate her and to feel the warmth of that love that she provided us. And we look forward to an even fuller celebration of life when the time comes.
I invite you to gently close your eyes and become very, very comfortable in your seat. Know that you're being supported by this chair. And in this space, this sacred, beautiful space, where our hearts are tender and open, know with me now, as I speak in first person, but it is true for all, there is one life, and that one life is transformative and transcendent. And I am connected to and expressing that one creative intelligence at all times, in times of joy and happiness, in times of peace and harmony, and also in times of grief and sorrow. Because as human expressions of this one beautiful, perfect, creative intelligence, we have a myriad of experiences and emotions, and it was the greatest gift that this divine wisdom, loving kindness wanted to express and experience the physical world through and as me. I am grateful to know this. I am grateful for all of the teachers, the practitioners, the ministers, the staff, everyone who has made this center a home for so many. I am grateful to know this truth that has expanded my life into places I could never have even dreamed of. I know that my body, every cell, every organ, every tissue, is immersed in, filled with, surrounded by, and constantly vibrating with the same energy out of which it is created. I enjoy health and vitality. But most of all, I am grateful to know that I can choose moment by moment to be curious in my mind and always aligned with mind with a capital M. The same way I can choose moment by moment to keep my heart open, to see God everywhere. Because as we know, God is all there is. And if you agree with this treatment that I now release into universal law, and knowing these words are already complete, together we say, and so it is.
The song I'm about to sing was one of Maddie's favorites. She goes, "Baby, I love when you sing that song." So I'm going to sing this song. Yeah. It's called Forgive. And I think Maddie had a hidden hippie inside of her, because you'll hear it in there. You'll hear some of the languaging by Munish Marji, Walking Tall. It was a poet laureate winner, and I was given the task of writing a song to the words, the poem, and so here it is. When one lives in at one moment, think about that for a second. All creatures great and small, loving thy neighbor as thyself really isn't hard at all. Where we live in true oneness as birds of the same feather. And when takes its spirit flight. May we jump for joy together, loving our cosmic family. Family. Wouldn't it be nice if such a thing would come to pass, that the concept of forgiveness became a relic of the past, like a pair of well-worn sneakers, long gone out of style, whose frayed and weary soles had traveled many miles, many miles. Wouldn't it be nice if such a thing would come to pass, that the concept of forgiveness became a relic of the past, or a faded woolen jacket long forgotten in the closet of life, for no longer there existed such a thing as human strife. Human strife. Human strife. Wouldn't it be nice if such a thing would come to pass, that the concept of forgiveness became a relic of the past, living life in principle, forgiveness is no more. Celebrate Maddie forevermore. Yeah. Forevermore. Evermore.
Beautiful. Thank you, Penelope. And I forgot to mention that on the back wall over here, before you exit to the lobby, there's a table there with Maddie's photo and flowers, and we have, what did Maddie always give you when you walked in? A hug. So there are Hershey hugs on that table, which are a blend of dark and white chocolate. How appropriate is that? And there's also a book there, so if you want to write some memories and your connection to Maddie, how she greeted you, what gifts she gave to you, we'll have that part of the memorial service as well, and share those notes with the family. We'll have it here not just today, but for some time. But it's all out there today, beginning today. All right. Good morning. It's so good to see you all. We got some people back for the first time in the building. So good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, it's good to be back. It's good to be here. You know, we are a couple of things as we launch into this. The theme for the month is Breathe in the View. And breathe in the view. And November is a special time for SLCA because it's our birthday. Our charter was signed on 1979 on November 19th. And so that we are entering into the celebration of our 42nd year, for actually entering our 43rd year, but celebrating 42 years of love and legacy here. And the November cover of Science of Mind magazine, have you seen? Mr. Jericho Brown on the cover there, yes. We didn't plan to sync that up for our birthday, but it's nice that it happened that way. I just mentioned to the editors that he would be a good choice. I mean, I know people. I just slid a note under the door. And how appropriate. It says breathe in the view. Don't you want to breathe in that view? Look at that. That's good. So lots of celebrations. And I don't know if you noticed, if you've been coming back since we reopened in July, we've been slowly making changes to the lobby in different places and putting up the You Belong and the T-shirts and all of that. And this morning we have a new addition to the lobby. Beautiful tree that's out there. Thank you, Danny Wilson, for that wonderful work. If you didn't see it, make sure you see it. It's a great spot as you're coming in. There are 2 chairs there. Have a seat, catch up with somebody. Great place to get a photo with somebody. In addition to our step and repeat, just beautiful. Thank you for that work. It's wonderful. So breathe in the view. We're celebrating 42 years. This month is for us, and the season as well, a time to reflect. My God, didn't that extra hour of sleep feel good? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Felt so good. Let's do it again tonight. We've been on an amazing journey over these 42 years as a community. We've been on an amazing journey the last couple of years with COVID and everything else that's been going on. And I want to invite you as we go throughout this month to take time to reflect about how this community has impacted you. The impact of Maddie's warm welcome, the impact of the messages that you've heard, the classes that you've taken, the practitioners that you've connected with, and to think back of the people in this room that have circulated through. In this room, representative of all the rooms that we've been in and spaces that we've been in for 42 years. Think about those memories and share them with somebody. Share them online. Connect with somebody before or after the services this month and share those stories. They're important because who we are is a collection of our stories, right? That stay alive as we share those. And so today, the title is The View from Here. The View from Here. We're going to honor our practitioners in just a moment, but I want to set this up a little bit and talk about what the view from here means. First and foremost, what is here? Right? This moment, the view from here, this moment. Here is always a mixture of things. It's never one thing. We think of it as one thing. Here. Where are you? I'm here. But if you really check in and think, well, where am I? And we're all here in this physical location, right? Doing something pretty cool behind the Comfort Inn on Claremont Road, right? Little hidden spot that's pretty cool when you walk in the door, right? It's here. But if we were to go around and ask, well, where are you? Especially in a New Thought crowd, right? Yeah, you ask a question like that, you're going to get a metaphysical answer. And what we'll discover is that everybody has a different relationship to here in terms of what's going on for you, perspective and where you are in your life and what's emerging in you when you woke up this morning or what drew you to church today or whatever, all the different things that here includes, right? The news of Maddie on your heart, all of the different things. And so here is always, it's where we are is never a singular thing. The view from here is never singular. It's always a mixture of all kinds of things, past and present, and worries and concerns, and all things mixed together, right? It's timeless, and it's also rebirth and renewal. It's legacy and 42 years, and people here that go all the way back to Kennedy Schultz, and it's people here that walked in for the first time, either today or just a few weeks ago. I was looking on the sign-in sheet from the last couple of weeks, and everybody would say, how did you find us? Google, 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 right? All the way down the sheet. People moving here from other parts of the country Googled us, knew they wanted a community, came here. And so here is always a mixture, right? It's a combination of loved ones lost to time, like Bill and Maddie, but forever in our hearts. And it's also the laughter of children running up and down the hallway, and the joy of new connections. And so as we take in the view from here, today we begin with honoring our practitioners, because practitioners are a bedrock foundation, a backbone of this spiritual teaching. Ernest Holmes began what we now call the movement, Centers for Spiritual Living. He began by just teaching, teaching in libraries in different places, and would grow and grow until he was in large meeting halls and theaters in Los Angeles. And there was a period of time in the history of our movement where he would have to move his services every couple of weeks or every month or two because the crowds would get so big. He'd fill up. He filled up the Wilshire Theater. They had to go somewhere else. And fill up that theater. They had to go somewhere else. Filled up that theater. They had to go somewhere else. Right? And then as he began looking at the legacy of the movement, he started not with ministers, he started with practitioners. Who are the people who are willing to commit themselves to the daily spiritual practice of not only remembering their own truth, but also helping others to remember that truth? And what would it be like if we had a plethora of those people doing this work out in the world wherever they are? Center for Spiritual Living licensed practitioners are ones who have dedicated their lives, their time, their energies, their intelligence, their consciousness to helping others through mental and spiritual means. It's the practitioner's business to uncover God in everyone, to reveal the highest truth of all mankind, humankind. To become a practitioner is to take a minimum of 4 years of study and personal inner growth. Minimum of 4 years of what we call the basic classes, from foundations forward, and then an additional 2 years on top of that of what we call professional practitioner studies, 2 years back to back, 30 weeks, 10-week terms, 3 terms. It's intense. And then after all of that, there's a rigorous licensing exam, and then we're still not done with them. Then we put them in front of 3 other people and quiz them. And do this panel. And we have to do mock panels so that they're prepared and they're not, have to tell them to buy extra deodorant and, wear loose clothing and all this stuff we have to do to get them ready for it, right? And so we have people over the 42 years who have been practitioners and who are still connected to us today, our body of practitioners, which is growing, by the way, not just locally, but nationally. We have 2 practitioners that are on our list today that are official part of us, that are, 3 that are not in the greater Atlanta area, and there are 4 more that are on the wait list. We've conditionally said yes. We've got to work through some paperwork and all of those things in the communities that they've been at and all of that kind of official stuff. But there's a constant knock on the door. Can I come play? I like what you got going on. There's something going on there. Can I move my license, right? Which, as you can imagine, begins a conversation, right? We got to check all that out. And so that process is happening. But today, we have these beloved members of our community that I want to acknowledge. So I'm going to bring up Shannon to help me, and as the practitioners, as we call your names, we, in our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, of which there's about 3,000 practitioners worldwide. It's the largest body of licensed clergy support. They serve as clergy in many ways. In our organization, we have about 900 ministers in our movement, of which only about 500 of those are active in ministry in some way. And so our practitioners are our biggest ecclesiastical body in this movement, and we honor them as an organization in 5-year increments. So there's a service pin for every 5 years, 5, 10, 15, and so on. And so we're going to read the years that they've been serving. They're all getting a certificate today that acknowledges their, this is sort of like a rededication ceremony we're doing. We're 42 years, we're kind of welcoming ourselves back into this space and rededicating ourselves to the next 42 years and forward as a spiritual community. And so those who are past, like there's a group here that's 7 years, they'll be receiving their 5-year pin, right? And those who are past 10, so we're not going to, that's all I'm going to say about that now. I'm not going to keep saying that throughout the ceremony, okay? Make sense? You good? So someone will say 3 years, they're getting a certificate, they got 2 more years before they get their pin. Okay, you understand. All right. So as we call you, you can come forward and we'll have your certificate and you can, kind of like graduation, walk across and we'll just acknowledge you and we'll keep the train moving because we got quite the list here. First, from not here physically today, but in Kansas City, Missouri, one of our remote outreach practitioners, Kathy Nash Peterson, 2 years as a licensed practitioner. We're grateful for her. And now we'll begin with our local group. We have Vera Carter, 3 years. think Vera's here today. Joseph Clark, 3 years. Tony Jenkins, 3 years. Diane Johnson, 3 years. Lexa King, 3 years. Richard Moy, 3 years. Al Shellman, 3 years. Cute. Figure out where I am. Al. Thank you. Dale Williams, 3 years. Penelope Williams, 3 years. Thank you. And now we're going to move to a 7-year group. So these folks will receive their, well, I already told you that. You understand. Our other remote practitioner on the coast of Georgia, no, sorry, not yet, in North Carolina, Shasta Bridges. I think she's online today. 7 years. Nana, 7 years. You know I'm just going to say Nana. Your pen, thank you. We're going to practice. We're going to practice. Karen Ratz, 7 years. Brandy Russell, 7 years. All right, Brandy. Idella Veal, 7 years. Thank you. Good to see you. Catherine Wheelis Daniels, 7 years. We got it? Get your pen? Yes. And our other outreach practitioner on the coast of Georgia in Savannah, Scheherazade Taylor, 7 years. Thank you. Greta Counts, 9 years. Janet Riley, 9 years. Letitia Dickerson, 10 years. How about that? Oop, hang on. Good luck. And in Chicago, Illinois, Gina Harris, 11 years. Baji Daniels, we're getting up there now, 15 years. Getting 2 pins. You're getting that 10-year pin she never got and that 15 years. Get them all. Get all your stuff. Jean Bell, 16 years. Working that hat. Come on, work it. And we have a special category of practitioners in our movement. After you've served 20 years as a licensed practitioner, you may apply for emeritus status. There's a little process we go through to confer that onto people. And so for 22 years of service, practitioner emeritus Victoria Peoples. Yeah. This comes with a yes, 22 years. So it's a certificate from our headquarters, from home office, as well as a letter from home office acknowledging this meritorious status. So please take a look at that. It's good stuff. Congratulations. We love you. 22 years. All right, now we have practitioners who also serve as ministers in this community. We want to recognize their service as ministers as well. Avon Drummond, 15 years. Reverend Ursula Lentini, 13 years. Thank you. Reverend Carol Anderson, 25 years. Yes, you do. Congratulations. Thank you. And hang on to that. There we go. All right. Reverend Susan Zoller, 26 years. Yes. Good. Give another hand to all of our practitioners and ministers. Beloved service to this community. And as I said, we have 4 more in the waiting to come online from remote locations, and it just continues to grow from there. So breathe in the view, these beloved souls that have served this community for all of these years. I didn't count up all those years, but that's a lot of years. And somewhere back in the office, we got a 15-year pin for me, and I was supposed to get an organ before I ordered it. Thank you. Wonderful. And so we are all on this evolutionary journey. The view from here, right, has all of those years of service behind it. It has the heart heaviness that we felt earlier in the room with it. It has the joy of new beginnings in it. It has all of these things. And so what I want to say with the remaining time today is that the view from here, again, is never singular. There is an emergent reality that, and I want to give you a tool to use today to teach you how to be with everything that's present in your life, right? It's a very simple tool, and it's just a way to anchor ourselves into the awareness of what's really happening, what we want to have happen, and how to reconcile those things. Does that sound helpful? Anybody dealing with what's really happening, what you want to have happen, and how to reconcile those things, right? So every day, come on now, every day, right? So pay attention, because in the community meeting, there will be a test. We have a community meeting today after the service. I want you to stay for that. I got some good information to share with you, and an exciting call to service for all of us as part of that. So I call this mapping the emergent reality. And mapping the emergent reality is simply an understanding that there is always, in every moment of our life, something that wants to break through, right? There is your life as it is, right? You are the culmination of the prayers that you've prayed and the wishes that you've had and the things that you've achieved and everything that's going on in this particular moment. And then there's something else. There's that call. There's that something, that evolutionary pull that's pulling you forward into the next dream, into the next vision, into the next possibility, into the next realm of wholeness or prosperity or relationship or whatever it might be, right? Mapping the emergent reality means that there's always something that's trying to break through as us. And even as we know, as it so often feels, that there's something that we are trying to wrestle with, right? Something that we're maybe in every moment, if we get really still and quiet and pay attention, there's something that we're struggling to make sense of. We're struggling to say, well, yeah, I got all this going on and it's really good, but why is this still bothering me? Why am I still agitated about this? Why does that person still bother me? I thought I got over it, right? It's always that thing. Or why haven't I really achieved this? Or why aren't I there yet? I'm here and I can acknowledge the good that I'm here, but why aren't I there yet? Whoever there is for each one of us, right? There's always something that we're wrestling with us. And there's always something that we simply don't want to deal with, right? There's those two things that I've just talked about. There's our current reality and thing that's emerging and something that we're wrestling with. And then there's something completely else where it's like, oh, don't even mention that. We're not talking about that today. I do not want to talk about it. I don't want to look at it. I'm present with where I am, where I want to be, and what I'm wrestling with, but then there's this other thing. We just got that locked up. We don't talk about that in front of other people. Right? There's the unconscious thing that is begging for our attention, right? And I was going to do a demonstration, but we're a little short on time. But so I'll just describe it for you. If you could imagine these characters in people, forms of consciousness in a car going on a road trip. So you've got the driver. Now the driver in this particular case, in this scenario, and maybe you can relate to one of these characters or the other, but the driver is very excited. Somebody give me a destination. Where? Albuquerque, Jamaica. Okay, it's a car. Yeah, I did ask you for a place. I'm not sure how to drive to Jamaica, but where's the road trip destination from Atlanta? Vegas. That's a long. Disney World. Disney World. All right. Disney World. Some people, Jamaica is Disney World for them. And, yeah, amen. All right, I get it. All right, Disney World. All right, so you're in the car, you're going to Disney World. Now the driver is very anxious to get to Disney World as quickly as possible, right? Make good time, beat the traffic. He's got it all mapped out, got the triptychs printed, knows where to stay, where the cheapest gas is, where the best food is. Got it all planned. Anybody relate to this character? Right? In the car, ready to go, right? Now, the passenger in the car, the first passenger in the car, is simply there to enjoy the view. Has looked at the trip and said, oh, there's the world's largest ball of yarn along our way between here and Disney World. There's the greatest, collection of fish hooks that have ever been collected in the history of mankind, and we should stop and see that along our way, right? Just wants to be present and take in as much as possible and enjoy the view. And then there's a third passenger. We'll get to the third passenger in a minute, but you imagine this, off they go on this road trip. Now you can imagine there's a struggle of a conversation between the person who wants to take it in, slow down, let's take a picture of that, circle back, wait, what was that? Take in as much as possible in the present moment. You understand what I'm saying? And the other person who is driven. Right, wants to get there on time, clocking the miles per gallon to the time, to the sunset, to the, got it all, got the math equations, got the whole thing figured out, and doesn't want to deviate from that plan, right? This is the conflict, or this is the dialogue that's happening in our present life that's called here, which is what I call our existent reality, the existing reality of our experience. It's just that now. It's just this moment. It's just I want to take this in. It's what children remind us of. Children remind us how to be present in the now moment. Don't know that you have a meeting going on in 5 minutes. I want your attention now. Don't know that you got this going on or that going on, or you're worried about this, or you need time to process it. Right? They don't know what mental processing is. There's just now. Right? And so this person wants to take it all in, and then there's where we want to go. That is what I call our horizon reality. It's on the horizon. It's our vision. It's our plan. It's our dream. It's our focus. It's where we're trying to get to, right? And we're in a constant relationship between the existent reality and where we're trying to get to. Everybody following me so far? Now enter the third character, the child in the back. It says, Mommy, Daddy, or whoever's driving the car says, I got to go to the bathroom. Right? And what's the first thing out of the driver's mouth? He said, you should have thought of that before we left. I told you. Right? Right? This person does not want to be bothered by the needs of what I call the confronting reality. The confronting reality is a need that arises, right? It's a need that arises while we're dealing with our existent reality. We're focused on our horizon reality, and then there's a confronting reality. It's new information. It could be positive, it could be negative, it doesn't really matter. It's just new information that comes in, and it wants to be dealt with. But you don't want to deal with it because it interferes with what you're already trying to process between your existent reality and your horizon reality. Are you with me? And the confronting reality does what? Persists. Persist with tenacity, right? Are we there yet? I got this. I don't know. Hey, he's touching me. I don't know. The batteries are dead. I don't know. You tell I did some road trips when I was a kid. Right? The confronting reality says, deal with this now. And so in order to move, so what here is always a dynamic interplay of these three realities. Here is always a dynamic interplay between these three realities. You're always moving between your existing reality, your horizon reality, and the confronting reality that's coming in. The challenge is that we are humanity as a general rule, we are actually really, really bad at dealing with the confronting reality. We hate it. It takes us off focus, it distracts us, and it brings up things that we don't want to address, right? Existent reality. So let me show you. You got the car scenario. Okay, let me take it up a notch and do it with you this way. Let's say the existent reality is the current state of our nation. The horizon reality is this aspirational idea of one nation under God, liberty and justice for all, peace and humanity, et cetera, et cetera. And the confronting reality is economic conditions, the job market, it's the Black Lives Matter, it's the condition, it's critical race theory, it's all of the things that come up, say, it's the yeah, but, right? The yeah, but comes up and says, okay, I get it. I get that you're here and you want to go there, but do you realize that you need to deal with this first, right? You got to deal with the child that's got to pee before you can get where you want to go. Are you with me? Right? You got to deal with it. Even if you don't want to deal with it. Even if it's going to mess up your time frame. Even if you're going to miss the buffet, the free buffet at the hotel because you're not going to get there on time. Are you with me? Right? The confronting reality says deal with this. But then we have confronting realities that are 400 years of slavery and oppression. We have confronting realities that are all of these social things that pop up and they say, but you've got to deal with this first. And we go, la, 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 la. I don't want to pay attention to that because it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. I don't see that on my map. They didn't teach me that in school. They just said I got to go from where I am to where I want to go. That's all I got to do, right? My spiritual teacher said I just have to have a vision and some affirmations, and I don't have to deal with anything that comes up in between there. I said, well, I'm sorry, but your spiritual teacher was wrong. You got to deal with whatever comes up in between here and there, the confronting reality. And so the way we navigate these worlds is that to move from your existent reality to your horizon reality, you have to take action. Requires an action plan. You know, you can affirm, you can have a vision board, you can do all these things, but eventually you have to take an action. You got to take a step. You got to enroll in the class. You got to make that move. You got to apply for the job. You got to reach out and say hello. You got to do something to move yourself in the direction of your horizon reality. Now, while you're doing that, the stuff that comes up to be confronted, the first thing that you have to do is simply process or acknowledge. You just have to acknowledge it. Oh, yeah, we keep talking about this world that works for everyone, and there's a whole group of people for which the current reality of the world, it doesn't work for everyone. Oh. And if all I do is just, so this is it for me in my dialogue, right? I'll give you insight to my head. Oh, it's scary in there, but here we go, right? If all I do is preach this positive affirmation, focus on your horizon reality, and everybody can achieve their dreams and happy ever after, there's a whole group of people that I might be talking to that might not have that same experience. Oh, okay. By the way, I had this insight a long time ago. This is not the current thing, right? There's a lot of people in our movement wrestling with this, right? It's not just this sort of white privileged, positive thinking thing. It actually has to be a little bit more nuanced and in-depth than that. Oh, I see. So we just process first. And then the next thing we do with confronting reality is we have to confront it. We have to face it. And then we have to integrate it into our existing reality. Okay, given that, right? Oh, you need to go to the bathroom. Oh. Okay, you tried before we left, but right? It's just processing, just acknowledging. Right? Then the next thing is, okay, now I have to integrate that new information into my existing reality. This is critical. Otherwise, we get stopped. Because when we just process it, we might get all caught up in our feelings. Right? As a nation, we get all caught up in our feelings. Well, we don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable. We don't want to talk about critical race theory. We don't want to talk about gun control. We don't want to talk about, you name the topic, doesn't really matter, right? You put the topic in, it's like, oh, we're just all caught up in our feelings about it. Now we feel guilty and shameful and this and that, but I didn't know what I didn't know, and now you're bringing it up. And it's like, oh, get over it, right? You just gotta process it. Just be with what is, whatever's coming up, and now integrate that new information. Oh, I see. So now I can integrate that new information. Well, let's find the next stop. Can you hold it long enough? Right? Or do we need to pull over to the side of the road? Right? You integrate the new information, and it changes your existing reality. But notice that it doesn't change your horizon. Ooh, come on, talk to me, somebody. It doesn't change. You're still going where you're going, just with new information that makes the journey, watch this, more rich, more authentic. It might even make your journey more accessible, right? Because now you're integrating new information that will bring other people along. You're not just stuck in your own little bubble. Now we can create a world that works for everyone that includes awareness of gender pronouns, and includes awareness of 400 years of racism, slavery, and oppression. Includes awareness of it, includes dialogue. We start teaching classes that aren't just, as a movement, we start teaching classes that aren't just dependent on old dead white men. Right? So, well, wait a second. Maybe there's some other people that knew about spirituality. Maybe we should look up their books and talk about from that perspective, right? And it doesn't throw out the dead white people. It just moves them over a little bit. So it makes some room on the library shelf for some other things here, right? It changes existing reality and then allows us to go. The only way that what it does to our horizon reality is it evolves it. It doesn't really change it, but it evolves it, makes it richer, more nuanced, more detailed, fuller experience, you see. And so we're always moving. The view from here always takes into account this dynamic. What is our existing reality? Where are we going? What are we being asked to confront or to face? How do we process that? And then how do we integrate that into our lives? You following what I'm saying? Ernest Holmes says in What Religious Science Teaches, he says, the ultimate goal of life does not mean that we shall ever arrive at a spiritual destination where everything remains static and inactive. Again, the ultimate goal of life does not mean that we shall arrive at a spiritual destination where everything remains static and inactive. That to which our present understanding seems an ultimate goal, will, when attained, be but the starting point for a new and future evolution. For we believe in the eternal upward spiral of existence. That which we believe as an ultimate goal now in the present moment becomes but the starting point for where we're really going. And so living in the present moment and the view from here is that there's always something emerging. There's always an integration of new information. There's always a change and a shift to existing reality that causes us to integrate that new information in new ways and then expand and say, okay, now where do we go? And how do we go together? That's why last month was, we go farther together, right? We go faster alone, but we go farther together. And so as we breathe in the view this month, as we celebrate our 42 years of history as a spiritual community here, we're going to integrate these ideas and these things. You're going to see it directly in the spiritual, in the community meeting, town hall, how we're integrating these realities into our awareness about where we are, where we're going, and what's confronting us. Good? All right, take a breath. We just give thanks for this day, for this moment, for this awareness, for the beloved service of our spiritual practitioners and ministers, for all 42 years of service from Dr. Kennedy Schultz, Paul Gagne, David Alt, and into the current chapter. All of the hugs and the welcome and the smiles received by Miss Maddie Hammond. And all of the love that is yet to come, those who are just finding us online today, stumbled across it. Somebody shared it on their page and they said, well, this sounds interesting. And they're just now exploring and opening the page of what it means to have a spiritual life, or something's been at them for a while, nudging and calling to get some spiritual inspiration and some fuel for the fire of what's emerging inside of them. And somehow, some way in this moment today, this seems to fit that bill. And we welcome all of that energy into this space. We give thanks for the rich legacy that we stand on and the great opportunities that are before us and everything that gets integrated into this moment to allow our destination to be richer, fuller, more vibrant, more inclusive for the good of all. So for this and so much more, I give thanks as I simply allow it to be. And so it is. Thank you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Reverend David. That was amazing. I've experienced a lot of sermons here at SLCA, and I've felt a lot of things through a lot of sermons. I've experienced a lot of your sermons. I've never experienced this one feeling today. I really, really have to pee. So we got to make this quick. Lord, that child in the back seat is killing me here. You may bring your coffee cup. I need you back up here. So, thank you to my fellow practitioners. My name is Karen Ratz, and in addition to being one of these amazing group and this amazing, yeah, you can give them another round of applause. These are amazing people. They serve our place beautifully. Thank you, guys. I love serving with you. Thank you very much. One of my other roles is as currently as president of the board, and it is my great honor to give one more service award because someone has been a minister for 17 years. This one says 15 years, as you've explained. And so here is your 15-year service award and your 15-year pin. And we are so happy to have you here. Yes, take that in. So we are so blessed, right, to have Reverend David in our midst. What a place. What a place this is. So I've got a couple quick things for you. We are going to have a town hall meeting. We're going to do our grateful giving and welcome our visitors, but I want to tell you we're going to have a town hall meeting right after the service. We'll take about a 10, 15-minute break. You'll be glad to know there is food in the house. How's that? There's some muffins, there's some juice, so you can have a little bit of refreshment. We will be efficient with our town hall meeting. So it'll start at noon. We'll be done by 1. You'll be out at brunch, so no worries. But we're going to have a meeting. You can also join us on Zoom. It's not too late to sign up, I think, on Breeze to get the link if you'd like to join us on Zoom. So at this time, we want to acknowledge our first-time visitors. Do we have any first-time visitors in the house today? Anybody? Oh, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Our ushers are bringing you a gift. We'd like to welcome you in the lobby. And we are so glad that you're here. Welcome. We're so glad that you've joined us. All right, we enter our time of grateful giving, and we want to thank each one of you. I will tell you, and you're going to learn this at the town hall meeting, right, is as you guys well know, in 2 years, there are businesses, nonprofits, all kinds of things that are no longer, that had to shut their doors in this last 2 years. We did not. We did not, and we did not for the reasons that are happening right now. In our grateful giving, we have had pledgers, givers, practitioners, ministers. Our community has set an intention that this place will continue from 42 years to 45 years to 55 years to probably 100 years, right? This legacy continues. And so I want to do our grateful giving. You can see how you can give online. But I want to do this with gusto because you guys have made 42 years happen. You are giving your heart energy, your money energy, your loving energy. And Maddie Hammond will be collecting your checks today in spirit and consciousness. And you know that's the truth, right? Because she loves us. All right, let's do it together. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So it is. And it's so great to see people that I've seen through the decades here. And each of you has volunteered and shared, as Karen said, with your heart and shared who you are with our community, and we're so grateful. Will you join with me? Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened? Was you? Oh. You know, this is my drummer. I'm just saying. Sometimes the drummer wants to do what it wants to do. Okay. Well, that sounds like somebody's chopping down a tree. Come on, stand with me now. Come on. Let's make it happen. Join with me as we sing. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Let's go back around, yeah. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We hope you'll join us for our afternoon, our time together at the town hall. Enjoy your refreshments and enjoy your weekend. It's great to see you. Thanks to our media ministry this morning, making it happen. Thanks, everybody. Hey, good morning. Well, I know there was supposed to be. I haven't talked to her, but she is here this morning, so. She never talked to me sometimes. I don't know what happened. Yeah, so I'll let you know. But everybody, there's more than, it's like music. There's more than one opportunity for dance. So if you'd like to bring dance, just, know that the door's open for you.
I would like to, there's something that's happening December 26th.
Okay.
And
So that's going to be Kwanzaa.
Right. And so I would like to do something for
Some music for that?
And lovely day.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
We'll just talk to Baji. She's got the program that morning, I think.
Okay, I will talk to her.
And then let me know if you have people, more than one person, and because we'll have to